about y'all. I felt a little out of sorts getting back into it at
We
home,
did too.
sitting
We did
in
too,
front of
yeah.
a iPhone, and
It took a while to get used to that. Now we have to get back
Yep.
into the live thing. So.
yeah.
Hey,
We're-
there's somebody sitting over there.
There's
Yeah,
live.
we haven't
like-
seen
oh,
people
there's
in
a
a while,
person.
so
Well, and to have people, we've actually got some of the best sitting in front
That's
of us
right.
right now, and some of our dear friends, which is great to see them. We live so close together, but we've all been staying at home, I guess. Anyway. Well, let's kick this thing off. Welcome into Western Edge Sellers, y'all. My name's Stephen K. Morris. This is the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series, as featured on KFan 107.9 FM and Texas Rebel Radio. We appreciate our listeners here at Western Edge and out on the radio, so y'all keep tuning in. We appreciate you. As I've mentioned each week, this is a show about the songwriter, the road they travel, where they've been, where they're going. Yeah, that's right. We're excited about being back, and I can tell y'all are excited about being out in the world. This week's no different than others. I have a guest, and this week, guests. I've got Surrender Hill here. This is Mr. Robin Salmon. Salmon.
Salmon, like
See,
the
I
fish.
did it wrong.
That's all
it's
right.
okay.
And Afton Salmon. Welcome in, y'all.
Thanks.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm glad
Been
you're here.
looking forward
and
to this.
I was teasing before the show. I have had a guest on that is Bruce Salmon, and
Yeah.
and I thought it was going to be easy because salmon is the way I would say it normally, and then I did it backwards anyway. Anyway, it's important when it's somebody's name. I guess if you're just talking about fish, it might not matter.
Yeah. I hear you.
So I'm glad you all have kind of salvaged part of your tour. You're on the road. You're no strangers to the hill country, but you don't live in the area anymore.
That's
and we'll
right.
talk some about that. You're based out of Georgia now.
We are purely by accident, but it was kind of like that's been most of my life. Is everything's happened by accident. So this was a good accident. We're
Happy
there, and-
accidents.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's really planned. We sort of landed there, and we've been there for going on 5 years now.
That, according to your biography, that is a long stint in any one spot. It seems.
Yeah.
It is.
We're kind of from all over, and yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Before that was 5 years in Arizona. So 5 years is like a,
Uh-oh.
that's a number.
It's a good number.
Yeah. No, we're
good.
we're feeling pretty well settled there for right now. Got a cool little piece of land and some horses and just a good music scene, and it's a great jumping off spot.
Yeah.
Close to Nashville, and there's so much music in towns that are so close. When we were in Arizona, gig to gig, you were driving an hour and a half if you were doing this full time. So, in Georgia, you can within 30, 40 minutes you're in. Got plenty of work. So
Right. It looks like y'all keep a pretty busy schedule. Of course, this year has been strange for everybody, but
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad that this worked out and that you're here in Fredericksburg and got to join us here on the show. And Afton, you flew in this morning from Arizona.
I did.
Yeah.
It's been a busy day.
It seems like it.
But I'm happy to be here, so.
I'm glad you're here. Well, let's not talk too long before we just get you to do what we're here to do and share some music. Introduce your music to our audience and
Cool.
kind of give us a taste of what you're all about.
yeah, right on. All right. Well, here's something. So we have a new record that came out April 3rd, and just in time, for not being able to tour and stuff like that. It's kind of how we like to do things. So we'll hit you with some songs from that. This is a song called Lucky Star, and it's kind of an answer song to, there was a time in my life right before I met Afton. The way I ended up in Arizona, we talk about accidents. Well, I was living out east and was going through some pretty tough, times personally, and so I jumped in my Jeep and started heading west and decided I wouldn't drive any more than, 300 miles a day, and I'd just kind of camp along the way and figure out where I'm going to land and what was going to happen next in my life. And I broke down in the Painted Desert, and that led me to Winslow, and I was stranded in Winslow. and ended up hitching a ride to Sedona. And when I saw Sedona, Arizona, I was like, this is where I'm going to live. And that's how I ended up there, and then I met Afton. But anyway, that I call that my pilgrimage of darkness that I went through right there.
Got some good folk songs out of it.
Yeah, I spent 10 days in Winslow in a little motel there, and I had a little 4-track recorder, and I made a record while I was there. It was pretty dark, but anyway, I put out an album in 2013 called Blackbird, and I think the songs on that were the dark side of that pilgrimage, and this song right here is sort of the bright side of that. You know, it's like a song about spending time in your life trying to figure out, really, find feed the good angels or the good wolf or whatever, and let that run your life and get some positivity. And I tell you what, after I moved to Sedona, that happened for me, and musically and personally, and then I met Afton, and everything just kind of took off. So anyway, here you go. This is an answer to that pilgrimage of darkness, I've been out walking with my father, searching for his son, the man he left behind him with his name to carry on. I've been covering hard country, banging on a drum, carving out an image of the man I will become. A reflection in the water stood steady in the dark, my lucky star. Got her hand around my heart, showed me how to navigate hard feelings when they come, how not to walk away, how not to run. I've had to wrestle with some demons, the kind that feed the wolf, ones that dance with the devil, that would eat you if they could. But love has found my footsteps like a shadow from the start. No more treading down that lonesome road, breaking others' hearts. A reflection in the water stood steady in the dark, my lucky star. Got her hand around my heart, showed me how to navigate hard feelings when they come, how not to walk away, how not to run. Oh yeah, oh, oh, yeah. Oh, a reflection in the water stood steady in the dark, my lucky star. Got her hand around my heart, showed me how to navigate hard feelings when they come, how not to walk away, how not to run. I've been out walking with my father, searching for his son, the man he left behind him with his name to carry on. I've been covering hard country, banging on a drum, carving out an image of the man I will become.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Well, y'all sound great.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's Surrender Hill. If you're listening out on KFAM, we appreciate you. And if you're right here at Western Edge Cellars on 228 West Main Street, we appreciate you for being back out on a Wednesday night for The Outsider. You can find Surrender Hill online at surrenderhill.com. They have a full schedule as the world exists right now, and they've got the dates on the calendar. You can find where they're heading, and hopefully they will be able to get to most of those dates as we're still dealing with the COVID situation. But things are shaping up, things are opening back up, and y'all are moving down the line. So we're hanging with Afton and Robin, and Afton, you have a neat history. You kind of split time as a child between Alaska and Arizona, where you find yourself back to now, I guess, in Arizona.
Yeah, was born in Alaska, but we moved to Arizona when I was about 5. But my family were fishermen and stuff like that, so we'd spend summers in Alaska because that was the fishing season, and winters in Arizona, and that was sort of how I grew up. So it's a pretty cool way to grow up.
What a good mix.
Yeah, and, one extreme to the other. That's how and then I moved to New York many years, so that's sort of my thing.
Yeah, I found it curious that as I studied a little bit about both of you. Robin, you spent time in New York as well. Y'all didn't meet there, but you both had
two different decades.
Yeah, 15 years apart.
Right?
Yeah, we each lived in New York City for 10 years apiece, but 15 years apart.
Right.
I think that makes me about 83. I don't know. But we're working on a song for that.
There you go. And both a little different careers at the time. Robin, you were in the music industry at the time and doing everything from performing with a band, but also some production and producing, if I get my timeline right.
Yeah, in New York City, it was mainly the performing and stuff. I had a punk rock band that had a deal with Sony at the time, so we were doing a lot of playing and stuff. And then after that, I went into a lot of production stuff.
Right. Yeah. As you moved south, I guess.
Yeah.
And Afton, you were in a dance production theater.
I was. I moved to New York City. Dance, starting out, was always my original passion. And so I moved to New York, and I was a professional choreographer and dancer, and that's sort of what I did. Right. And then I started writing poetry, and then it all needed to shift into another. Yeah, thank you. But yeah. So
music, of course, goes hand in hand with dance. And so did you have a musical background at that point, or just began?
Not really. I mean, my family has always been musical, and I grew up on a lot of music. My dad plays guitar, my grandpa plays guitar, my grandma plays piano and stuff like that. So it's always been sort of around
in the family.
And I always wanted to learn how to play an instrument, but just didn't have the time, until later years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And doing it well now. So. Robin, how about you? Did you have a family history of the music, or was it just a childhood? Because I know you started early.
As I'm shaking my head, I just recently, maybe about 2 years ago, met a friend of my father's from when he was in the Navy in South Africa. And this guy, the first thing he told me about my dad was that, man, your dad used to entertain us. He was a great singer.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I was like, what? And so, and he does. He sits around singing it, throughout my life. Every now and then he would sing just along. And he's got a great voice, but not at home, They were, in South Africa, it's very surprising, but growing up there, we were, Chris Christopherson was like, he was king.
He's the man on top.
He was the man on top, and so, me and Bobby McGee, my dad would always, whip that out, and
nice.
So that's kind of what I grew up listening to there,
Right. You didn't miss out on the pop culture of the time here, and
no. No, I mean, I don't know. When we moved to the States, I quickly. I was really into the Western thing, the cowboy thing and everything. Mm-hmm. I was into horses and stuff. But when I heard AC/DC for the first time, I was like, okay.
Turn your head.
There's a little something else going on, And
I have a similar taste. I'm very, bipolar in the listening experience. I can go Metallica or AC/DC or turn on George Jones.
There you go. That's me, And interestingly enough, on the ranch that I spent my teenage years, there was a lot of great, Texas country music being played there, and I didn't appreciate it, as much as at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely stuck with me, and in later years, I started going, man, oh yeah, that. But
you mentioned the ranch. That's here in the hill country. You ended up.
It is the YO.
At the YO.
Yeah, the YO. Yeah, about 45 minutes from here, and I lived there, about 6 years, and I went to Harper. I went to 6th and 7th grade in Harper.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You were here before the hill country kind of exploded with the wine and music culture.
Totally.
And so
I actually played football at Harper. I was a shorthorn. Yeah.
Did you? Were y'all 6-man?
Man, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I came from playing rugby in South Africa, and then but I liked the helmets and the pads. I was like, that looks cool, and I thought, I need to do that.
I can try this. Yeah.
It didn't work
stick.
for me. Yeah.
You needed more brutal contact, I guess,
That's
if you came from the rugby.
Yeah, and AC/DC.
There you go. Well, if y'all are ready, I'd love to hear another song.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's why am I not hearing anything? Yeah, so here's another song from our new album, and I didn't really plan this, but just sitting here thinking about it for a second. This is kind of a song about a character who's traveling east to west across the country and trying to find his place, and so it kind of goes hand in hand with that last song right there. But this is sort of about my journey and then our journey, and it's called "Turn This Train Around." I rode west and found my place in the canyon. Cut a trail through the desert with a 6-string on my back. Sun beat down like a vulture on a 2-day kill. Coyotes in the night try to bend this beggar to their will. Now there's a woman next to me on the cold hard ground. She's a peaceful place in a hard luck town, and I feel no need to turn this train around. We rode east and found our place in the mountains. 7 weeks picking in the bars for a milk and gas. Tornado took a swing at Betty in southwest Texas. Rained so hard like pellets from a 12-gauge kiss. Now there's a woman next to me on the cold hard ground. She's a peaceful place in a hard luck town. I feel no need to turn this train around. I feel no need to turn this train around. These southern hills make our guitars sing. Our voices echo through the kudzu vine. We sunk our roots on a bank where an old man willow grows. Made our bed where 3 great rivers flow. Now I've settled down to start myself a family, and I saddle up Ringo for nothing but a joyride. But that red dirt scene keeps pulling me from my home. Well, that's okay, 'cause I ain't going at it on my own, not this time. There's a woman next to me on the cold hard ground. She's a peaceful place in a hard luck town. I feel no need to turn this train around. There's a woman next to me on the cold hard ground. She's a peaceful place in a hard luck town. I feel no need to turn this train around. and I
Feel no need to turn this train around.
Thank you.
That's Robin and Afton of Surrender Hill. There's some history behind your band name, Surrender Hill, and it goes back to South Africa. And you want to tell us a little bit about that,
Well,
Robin?
the area that I grew up in, South Africa, was pretty remote up in the mountains, and you know, in the late 1800s, very top of the century of the 1900s, there was a war called the Boer War, kind of like a civil war going on in South Africa, and the end of that war was at this particular place that was called then Surrender Hill, and that's where it ended. But that hill was about 8 kilometers away from where I grew up, and my dad, he used to take my brother and I there all the time, and you'd go up there and we'd sit on that hill, and you could dig with a little shovel and you'd find armament. They blew up all the armaments is what happened to end, you know, on the surrender. So there are pieces, gun barrels and, like, you know, bullets and shells and everything. And you just dig and you just keep finding all this stuff. And it always stuck with me. You know, I for years, I wrote songs about it, and, you know, that was always sticking in my head. And I always knew one day there'll be a time, you know, right time to name a band or something, Surrender Hill. And so with Afton, you know, I had gone through my pilgrimage of darkness, you know, the second or third time by the, you know, when I met her, and she had her stuff that she went through in life, like we all do, and it was kind of this thing when we found each other, you know, personally, but musically and just in life, like there was just a surrender to it, you know, that was kind of pretty cool with us, and so I you know, pitched that idea to her, you know, Surrender Hill, and of course she was totally behind it, you know.
Yeah, that works as you explain it very well.
Yeah, we went and visited. We visited there. We have been
every time we go back.
We go to South Africa every year, you know. And we play music out there for about 6 or 7 weeks and just visit and stuff. And we always go to Surrender Hill and, you know,
take a picture.
Take a picture. Yeah, here we are.
There you go.
Surrender
Appropriately now, you can put your band sign up there.
Yeah, I know.
Afton, I read something about you that I found curious. You had 2 grandfathers. One was a preacher and one was a fisherman, which may not be too far apart in trade.
Well, that's exactly right. That's very true, yes. Yeah, both my grandparents are awesome and amazing and still around, and I'm so blessed to still have them. But yeah, you know, my parents have been together since 8th grade, but they grew up in very different households. So, you know, my dad's side, they're very, you know, he was a preacher, and my dad, of course, turned out to be the typical preacher's son and was a bit of a rebel.
The wild one.
Yeah. And then, you know, on my mom's side, my grandparents, I mean, they party more than I do now. So, I mean, you know, that's... Yeah, but they all love each other, and, you know, we're one big happy family. So yeah.
Was I guess the nature of your families being spread out across the world is what kind of instilled that traveler spirit both of you have. Did they?
Yeah, probably.
Many of your family members travel a lot, or were they pretty well? They did.
Yeah, so. my folks, you know, they were big traveling people. You know,
very worldly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they dragged us, you know, out of South Africa in at a time when, you know, my father was a kind of an activist, a very loudmouth dude, and very strong opinions, you know. And in South Africa,
that's probably
wasn't a good thing during the years of apartheid. So he found out that trouble was coming our way, and we pretty much, you know, up and ran and moved to the U.S. But you know, since they've lived, living in America, I think, you know, they lived in Texas, they lived in Colorado, they lived in California, and then they moved to Kenya, and then they moved back here to Georgia, and now they're back in South Africa. So they've been
full circle,
you know, zipping around, yeah. And my dad, it's funny you say that, because my dad just wrote a book, and it's the first title of it was Full Circle.
Is that right? Curious. Yeah. Well, let's hear some more music, traveling or not.
Yeah, here's a... Monday I was driving west again, and I realized, man, how many times in my life have I traveled east just so that I could go west? You know what I mean?
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And but this time, I was just cruising along, and I was like, man, this is one of the few times in my life that I'm traveling west and I'm going towards something and not from something. You know what I mean? That's got nothing to do with this song, by the way. But I was just thinking about that. So here's a song that I wrote this song, I think around 2007. I made a record called Come On Home, and I was living in Nashville at the time. And while we were up there, some of my buddies were hanging out after the session, and somehow this tune started coming along. We were, I was in a good place in my life, but somehow this song knew where I was headed, and it was kind of like a bit of a prophecy, of where I was going. And I put it on the album, and then it just sat there. It was kind of an added-on track, and it sat there until a year ago. I dragged it out. It kind of, for some reason, I started thinking about it, and I pulled it out for Afton to sing, and see what it would be like with a woman's voice and her voice, and it just like, it was a rebirth, or actually the first birth. It's like I'd never heard it, the song before actually at all.
It's fun when a song kind of dictates what it's going to be to you rather than...
Yeah, totally. It was like the first time I ever heard the words when she started singing. I was like, really?
Nice.
That's what happened? Anyway, so this is on our new record. It's called Broken Down Car.
Transmission won't slip into two. There's a dent in the door, hole in the muffler. You're leaking your oil and you're playing with voodoo, trying to make time in a bucket of rust. Running in the rail, but you're going for a bus. Riding in a tinker, living pretty mean. You better slow down. You've been chasing let me tell you, baby, you won't get far in a broken down car. You spend a lot of life out on the run, making your way from town to town. Last motel room you were, you shared with a woman. Hold on to get you through. You've been chasing the end of the rainbow for so long, following a shooting star. Let me tell you, baby, you won't get far in a broken down car. In a broken down car. You won't get far.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's Surrender Hill, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to The Outsider or being right here live with us here at Western Edge Cellars on Wednesday nights. This night is fun like all of them are, and this is turning out to be really special. We appreciate you tuning in. If you're out there on KFAM 107.9 FM, we appreciate you. Come on in when you get a chance. Tune into our new YouTube stop. We got a Outsider page, the Outsider Songwriter series on YouTube. Please hit subscribe and click the bell so we can let you know when a new video is out. You can be a part of the live audience right here any Wednesday night. Also, look at our Patreon if you'd like to support this series and the musicians that we're fortunate to have with us. I want to mention some sponsors that keep us in action. One of those is the Tobacco House. They're purveyors of cheap talk and fine tobacco. They're at 109 South Washington Street across from the Nimitz Museum. They've got a fine walk-in humidor with all your favorite cigars and pipe tobacco. Also, a full bar. So check out the Tobacco House while you're in Fredericksburg. You can look them up online at tabak-haus.com. Also, Majesty Wine Tours, they'll drive you to drink. You'll get to visit the Texas Hill Country and all your favorite venues, all the wineries you'd like. They'll pick you up from your B&B or hotel and get you back safely. Look up Majesty Wine Tours online at majestywinetours.com. Also, last but not least, the Texas Silver Rush. They make fine custom jewelry, silver and stone jewelry, much like Afton's wearing tonight. They have the squash blossom jewelry and things like that. So check them out. They're on the historic west end of Main Street, just across the street from Western Edge, where we are weekly on Wednesday nights. Look them up, thetexassilverrush.com. We appreciate those sponsors and what they're doing to keep the show rolling.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a great group of small businesses, and right now they need their support more than ever. And just like us small businesses playing the music on this stage. Well, I'm glad you're here. That song is that little bit of frustration of driving around and not maybe ending up where you want, but
Yeah, not living right.
I've
too
had
much,
that experience myself, and if you don't mind, I'll throw a song in that came to mind while you did that,
Yeah.
and then we'll get back to some more of y'all's music and history. And
Do it.
we love doing this show. We try to kind of track and take account of what songwriters are on the scene and where they're at and where they're from, where they're heading, and it's been a pleasure to do this. I'm just rattling on here so I can tune this guitar. But it is a pleasure, and so glad it worked out for y'all to be in the house tonight.
Yeah, same here.
I wrote this song. I lived in Richardson, Texas, and I'm kind of got a wandering spirit as well. But I had the proverbial day job for quite some time, and I drove in circles from my front door, and I was a contractor, and drive a couple 100 miles a day and end up at the same door I left from, and that's not always the easiest thing for a traveling guy,
Yeah. I hear you.
I wrote this, and it was kind of a change your luck type thought. Did you look in the mirror this morning, wake up calm or run out storming? Did you prepare to greet this day or sit and hope for an easier way? Did you get all your laundry done after you hot your late night fun? Did you get your hair fixed up right after you tossed and turned all night? Did you say the prayers you said you would? Did you call in sick if you thought you could? Did you look in the mirror this morning? Found your keys in the couch again, not where they should have been. You hopped in and cranked her up in time to spill your coffee cup. You could have beat that early train if it weren't for all the wind and rain. You sat and stared at the flashing gate and wondered why you're always late. You hopped the tracks to Blowtooth Town, but the detour sign had slowed you down. Did you look in the mirror this morning? Did you see yourself in the mirror this morning? You cussed out loud in the parking lot when you saw the car in your favorite spot. You know the owner and thought I'm a fool. It seems you've forgotten the golden rule. Walking tall, you head to the door and think to yourself, pay me more. Remember the report you had to write, where you left it in the kitchen last night. You make up excuses and things to say or which relative to kill off today. Did you look in the mirror this morning? Did you see yourself in the mirror this morning? You look to your watch like an only friend until the whistle blows the day to an end. You're off to the races to beat all the lights. You're free to go, at least for the night. You got it made, you live in the dream. Your ships come in, whatever that means. You think of the shoulda, coulda dones, of the ifs and buts that made you run. Did you look in the mirror this morning? Did you see yourself in the mirror this morning? If your clock stopped without a warning, who did you see in the mirror this morning? All right, the mirror. Thank you all very much.
Awesome.
So that was my days for a little while, and these days are been a little better. When I travel now, I end up somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
And you guys are doing that. You're on the road. We're talking with Surrender Hill here. They're on the road, kind of making your way back to Georgia, and y'all have, I guess, made some stops out in Arizona and back in the Texas Hill Country. This is not your first time out here. As we mentioned earlier, Robin, you have some history at the Wyo Ranch that just outside of Kerrville there, and spent some time with the Longhorns. And
Sure did.
yeah, and but home is Georgia now, and it looks like y'all have got a pretty full schedule. Hopefully, when you get back into town.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I know you'll be playing in the area this weekend. One of our favorite wineries, you'll be at William Chris Wine.
Yep.
And I think that's Friday
Friday
and
and
Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
And then you'll be down in Comfort.
In Comfort on
Saturday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Looking
Well,
forward to all of it.
Absolutely.
Just
And
playing music, people.
yeah, getting back in front of people is a good thing. And you know, for something that feels so natural most of the time, these last couple of weeks have been different because we've been at home using technology and kind of reaching out with the online performances and things like that. Did y'all take some time to do that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did probably 2 streaming shows a week or so. And, our when our
I think
album.
we finally figured it out.
You got it figured out about
Don't
the
say
time
that.
we're back?
We're
Well, I
doing one
know.
tomorrow,
Something
and I've
goes
got a
wrong
problem
every
with it.
time.
I know the feeling.
learning curve.
Yeah.
Prior to this event, in the COVID event, I really left the online streaming alone.
Yeah,
But,
we never did it either.
Yeah.
it
It
turned
didn't
out
even
to be
occur
a,
to
to
us,
us,
you know.
yeah.
yeah,
But thank goodness we have it.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
I mean,
saved
for-
us.
kind of
for
pushed
sure.
us
It's an
into
outlet,
the
yeah.
real world, or the new world,
Yeah.
I guess, the digital world.
Yeah.
So,
I hope the new world doesn't last too long.
me
you know.
too. I want
like
more
the
of
old world.
what we think about as normal. I want more of that.
Yeah, I don't like the whole this is the new normal. It's just
Yeah.
just get back to normal.
I agree.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
y'all had an album release in April.
Yeah.
And were you able to pull that off before things kind of started
No.
shutting down?
No, we actually we had a really great, album release show planned and all that, and that had to be canceled. So we ended up doing a streaming thing for it. We had a publicist that's been working the record, and that's really where a lot of our streaming has come from. She's, gotten some really great magazine outlets that have allowed us to stream on their socials and stuff like that, to kind of help promote the record,
Right.
So that's really what got us kicked into it,
So we're looking for a first release.
Yeah, we rescheduled a couple of those
For
ticketed
August,
shows we
yeah.
had for August, and we're still calling them the album release show.
Good for y'all.
Yeah.
Do you have the album with you? It's
Yeah, we do.
And
Yeah.
I think the title is A New Kind
a
of
whole
Freedom.
lot of freedom.
A whole lot of freedom. I
a
like
lot
that.
of freedom, which is pretty ironic. You
It
know?
seems ironic this year. It seems like we've all been kind of restrained. So you have
That's
some
it.
of those new albums with you.
We do.
Good.
Yeah, they make good coasters. You know, you can use them at home. They're, you know, put
Yeah.
a drink on them. They're pretty cool for that. You know?
And you mentioned yeah, I know the feeling these days with the digital world. It's we carry around literally albums or vinyl or CDs. USBs are becoming something
Yeah.
now, and we never know where they end up. But it's such a pleasure when some listener picks one up and
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
it
Oh,
home. And
totally.
it's still an art project, you know.
yeah.
And I
No,
look
no,
at it that way.
we're always
Yeah.
going to make CDs. I mean, I can't fit our picture on a USB thing. I've tried, you know. It's like, can't get it on there. you know.
Right.
No, but we love making albums and actually the actual physicalness of it, you know. product
You
of it.
mentioned earlier that you had recorded an album with a 4-track recorder on your own. Are y'all doing some of the recording yourselves? Or are you?
Yeah,
in
the
studio?
interesting thing is, you know, I lived in Nashville for a number of years, and I worked, produced records out of a studio there, and a lot of my, you know, earlier albums I recorded there, and then the first or the second two, number 2 and 3 of Surrender Hill, we did in Nashville, and then this album we actually built out a studio at our house. And so this record was entirely recorded at our house, you know. I had some buddies from that musicians, drummer and stuff come down and, you know, work out of the house. And it was kind of fun because we had the drummer set up in our dining room, which is right in front of our son's bedroom. And so, you know, he just
He
turned
had to
2.
nap in our bathroom.
Yeah, so he was napping in our bathroom, or it was like, okay, wait, you know, Ren is his name. You know, Ren has to do this, so everybody take a break. So, but it was wonderful. We live on this little 5-acre property with some horses, and so the musicians, we could all hang out and just kind of barbecue and stuff, and then get back to recording.
In
you know.
between naps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it made it all the more special. You know, it really did.
That's
you know.
nice. And,
Yeah.
in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah,
with people
you know, and I, you know, I'm a finicky producer, you know, so I like to kind of have control of stuff. And
We could take a little more time with it. We weren't, you know, stuck to
Yeah.
a time frame. So it was nice to be able to like really settle into the songs
it
and not
turned
rush
into
anything.
a double
and-
album. You know, if it would have been on vinyl, it would be a double record. You
There
know?
you go.
And we culled it down to that, but it's you know, I've made albums in the past where we just put too many songs on it, and I don't feel like that happened here. You know, this is the right amount of songs, but there are a lot of them.
Yeah. It's all right. More Surrender Hill.
I know.
Well, let's hear some of it. Do you
Right
have a
on.
new one from the album that you want to play?
Yeah. This song, I don't know why we really enjoy playing this song, but this was one of those 8-minute, you know, rights, you know, where you kind of pick up a guitar and you sit down and it comes out and you're like, oh, hang on, let me record that real quick, you know, and that's what this song is. You know, Tom Petty has always been somebody pretty special for me, and a massive, you know, star in the sky that I could look towards. And he always used to talk about, you know, songs flying through the air, and that songwriters, what you had to do was just open yourself up and reach up and grab it, you know. And this song was kind of all of those things, because that's exactly how this song got written. It was written from beginning to end and not really backtracked at all, you know, if that makes sense, you know. It just kind of came out as it is. But it's about songs. So it's kind of weird, like a song about songs. Anyway, whatever. This is called Healing Song, and it goes like this. I sang songs to help me through the thunder. I sang songs to keep me from going under. I sang songs, just me and a bottle of cheap wine. I sang songs to ease my troubled mind. I sang songs to keep the fires burning. I sang songs to keep the old truck wheels turning. I sang songs, just me, under a million stars. I sang songs to mend my broken heart. Now I know there ain't no perfect time or place. Sometimes this world can pull an ugly face. Then I reach up high for something strong. Keep my head in the clouds for a healing song. I sang songs to see my baby smile. I sang songs to wash away the miles. I sang songs, just me, late into the night. I sang songs to carry me to the light. Now I know there ain't no perfect time or place. Sometimes this world can pull an ugly face. Then I reach up high for something strong. Keep my head in the clouds for a healing song. Time or place. Sometimes this world can pull an ugly face. Then I reach up high for something strong. Keep my head in the clouds for a healing song. Well, I reach up high for something strong. Keep my head in the clouds for a healing song.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's Surrender Hill, folks. You can look them up online at surrenderhill.com. And I'm tickled that they're here on the stage with me here at The Outsider. Please check out our YouTube channel for The Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. Hit subscribe and click the bell so we can let you know when a new video is out. And also check out our Patreon if you're interested in supporting the show from afar or from near. Doesn't matter where. Yeah, great song, y'all. Do you guys and gal, do you have a formula with writing? Is it something you both get involved, or is it one of you are writing your own song and then you bring it to the table to make it both of yours? Or
most of the time it's both of us. There are a lot of times I'll start belting out something. I kind of have this like Tourette's thing, you know. With
He'll be singing a whole song in another room, and I'll be like, "Did you record that?" And he'll be like, "No," and it's gone. It's
gone,
lost.
yeah.
So
yeah, but she, you know, so I'll come up with a thing, and then it's always whoa, okay, wait, come, let's, you know, because it works way better, you know, when she's there, and if I'm starting something now. On the flip side, you know, I'll go outside and mow the lawn, or, you know, shovel snow or something like that, and be gone for, you know, an hour or something, and come back and she's like written just something spectacular. Mm-hmm. You know, honestly, it's like Afton needs me to be somewhere else, you know, like, and usually doing something of labor, you know, actually helps her write songs, I think, you know, because it does seem
inspiring, right?
Yeah, I do have to. I mean, when we write together, it's a very different process. But for me, on my own, I'm definitely one. I'm not as prolific as Robin. Robin can write like 5 songs a day, and it's you know, but it's one of those things where I have to start and finish a song all at once. And if it doesn't come out, then it doesn't come out. So it's, they happen. We have a toddler who's keeping,
Your
keeping me
time
very busy
occupied.
these days. But
Yeah, you
But
mentioned
it's
your
all
son, and he's, what, a year and a half?
2.
Two
He just
now?
turned 2.
May 11th,
May 11th,
he turned
so.
2, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it inspired some other songs, having a child now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has, that pilgrimage of darkness thing, no, I'm just kidding.
No, he's not a teenager yet.
No, exactly.
You'll have the revival of the darkness here.
Yeah.
Hopefully
no,
not.
It's kind of interesting. There's so many feelings, and it's just such a rich thing that it's almost hard to find the right words, So it's kind of like we write stuff that it has to sort of fade a little bit, and then we can revisit that. You know what I mean?
Sure,
it's
you
just
get a grasp of how you really
it's
felt.
just so intense, You're like, this doesn't do it. You just can't. I don't know. You just can't find the words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll come after, like you said, as they settle, your feelings settle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You kind of understand what you're going through.
Yeah, totally.
In the middle of the tunnel, you probably just kind of feel caught.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's been a wonderful
journey.
time.
yeah. So, Afton, your desk is fairly clean then. If you have to get through a song for it to be a song and write it right then, and then
Yeah.
Robin, maybe you have the stack
yeah.
of come back to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I've
material.
got a bunch of lines and things that I'll be like, "This is it, I got it," and like you know how it is, and you zip along about 15, 20 seconds of a tune, and then you're like, "Duh," and I'll put that somewhere and
Come back.
yeah, come back and look at it or trash it, but I'll definitely come back and look at it.
Yeah.
You
And this has been a good couple months for that going back to, I thought, but it's strangely uninspiring right now to sit down, and when you feel like you're already cooped up, sitting still is harder to do, I think.
Yeah.
I know, like, I thought for sure, I said, because we've got the studio at home, I was like, let's do it. Let's nail out, all the tunes that we cut from the record we just released. Let's lay them all down. And we did none of that. Instead, I was outside. I was building a bar outside.
And
I was,
he's not a builder.
I'm not. I am the least
He's been
handy
YouTubing
guy.
a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. I'm the least, but somebody gave me a bunch of tools, and there's some folks building a house right up above us, so I would go up there and just take all the wood and bring it back down and start building stuff, and it's chaos around there, but I've been having fun.
But it's good.
Nice.
The saws are going.
Yeah, good. Keep
Yeah.
it going.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear another song before we have to end the radio hour here.
Yeah.
And,
Well, let's do something. So, talking about Afton and her. Here's I was out what I like to call mowing the snow one day, and just working it down there, and when I left the house to go out and do my thing, there was no inclination of maybe there's a song about to be written or whatever, but an hour or so later I came in and Afton had written this song, and it's I don't know, it's just one of my favorite songs I've ever heard.
Is where I stand when drowning by another's hand, but I still see good in a bitter man who can't fight the fear within. Well, this lonely road of circumstance is harder than a wilderness, and all I know is this little piece of land will carry me through winter's end. Sometimes I cry the tears of joy for setting free the hateful noise, and even when the may sell me short. I still get what I came here for. Well, this lonely road, circumstance is caught up in a wilderness, and all I know is this little piece of land will carry me through winter's end, winter's end. So when it's all said and done, the journey kept me holding on to all the love that sang my song. I'm living proof it can be done. Well, this lonely road, circumstance gets caught up in a wilderness, and all I know is this little piece of land will carry me through winter's end. Well, it'll carry me through winter's end, winter's end. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful song, as are the rest of them. I wish we could have you longer on the radio hour. The good news is, for the folks hanging out here at Western Edge, we've got another hour or so of music to trade songs and probably less talk and more songs.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for being here. That's Surrender
Thank you so
Hill, y'all. Look them up online, surrenderhill.com.
Thank you.
Thanks to the listeners out on KFAM 107.9 FM and TexasRebelRadio.com. Don't forget our sponsors, the Tobacco House. They're purveyors of cheap talk and fine tobacco. The Texas Silver Rush. They're right across the street from Western Edge Cellars on the west end of Main Street here in Fredericksburg, and online at thetexassilverrush.com. And also Majesty Wine Tours. When you're ready to get back out in the hill country, call Majesty Wine Tours. You can book your tour at majestywinetours.com. Anyway, this is The Outsider. My name's Stephen K. Morris. This has been Afton and Robin of Surrender Hill. Thank y'all for being here today and sharing your music on
Thank
KFAN and at Western Edge Cellars. We got more folks turning up, so we'll be right back and play some more music. Don't forget to see the YouTube channel, The Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. Check it out, hit subscribe, and help us out on our Patreon if you're interested in supporting original music. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll
man.
talk more and hopefully have you back as you make your rounds through the hill country. I don't know when you'll be back, but next
Sooner
spring.
than later.
Yeah. Yeah. If you get stuck here, that'll be all right, too.
Yeah.
We'll just invite you back sooner.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Remember, folks, we're a small crowd, but we're mighty. Hey folks, thanks for joining us online to watch the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. That's right, we're taking this thing to a new level. Videos, every guest, every week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you can be notified when we release new material. If you like the show and want to support us, you can tip through Venmo. There's a link below. Check out theoutsidersongwriter.com. That'll be up and coming soon. Thank you for your support over the last 4 years. The show's growing. We've had over 150 guests, and we promise to have a lot of new great songwriter guests. Please continue to share with your friends on your social media accounts. Come on into a show. Join us when you're in Fredericksburg. You can be a part of the live audience. Downtown under the dark of night, somewhere between shadow and light, over the edge of lost and found, you can hear neon and feel sound. Be well, folks. I know we're living in strange times. We'll get through this together. We'll see you soon.